Pete Gandy and to have more military affairs meetings. That's what was outlined in that. And then, of course, when challenged, we find the report that you're discussing here.
Well, there's another nugget. Well, we can go ahead and release the job creation numbers were 600 in the online version of the annual report for Team Santa Rosa. They said now those are my take is those are potential jobs. Those are. I asked the team executive director Cindy Anderson, and she said those are the jobs that are pledged by different
maybe sort of kinda.
Well, that's what they promised they're going to create, or 600 jobs.
Now here, let me.
And that includes the prison.
Well, I was going to ask you that.
Okay.
So it does include the prison.
Yes.
So once again, let me make it clear. I believe this is about the third or fourth time I've made this clear. Team Santa Rosa had zero goose egg, absolutely no involvement with the private prison coming to Santa Rosa County.
Well, I think they came in after much of the recruitment part was done with, because we know that local businessman.
That's right.
Actually,
a local private businessman was the one that worked that operation. Team Santa Rosa did squat, except have a couple meetings at their facility behind closed doors outside of the sunshine.
Yeah, they seem to have. My impression was they came into the tail end.
And with that said, we know for a fact that the prison's intentions at full capacity, 200 beds full, and we don't think there's going to be any shortage of prisoners put in there, that they will employ 500. So under best case scenario, if all 600 come in, 500 of them belong to the jail, Team Santa Rosa can only take credit for maybe 100, and those are still maybe sort of kindas.
There seemed to be a lot. If you look at the annual report online, there's a lot of paper shuffling that went on over there. I mean, there's a lot of
well, there's volumes. There's know colored photos.
There's a lot of reports.
We've ladies and gentlemen, and of course we follow it a lot closer than you do. But in the report that was given to the commissioners is copies of their web page put into a 3-ring binder. Okay, look, we live in the electronic age. If a county commissioner wants to look at your web page, all they got to do is hit www.teamsantarosa.com. It's not that hard. It's easy.
Well, we should say we're still going through that annual report. We're not going to give any kind of final analysis or commentary today.
Right.
We haven't had a chance to go through it. What we've seen.
But the point is, why do you print it out when it's available online?
Well, that's actually what they said at the meeting. Why they didn't provide a lot of copies for people.
Why did you make 7 copies of it? Would be my question. That was not cheap to produce the 7 copies when all of that information is available online.
Well, and I'll just let you know, I did find one thing as I was running through the online version of the annual report. I'll just let you know now.
Do I need to hold on tight?
You might want to hold on.
Okay, all right.
Number one goal for next year is to purchase the rest of the Pullen property. This is new for you. You hadn't been aware of that before I just told you. It's expected to be in the $1-point-something million range. This would be the part that's platted to the north of the treed acreage that we already bought for $3.2 million.
So help me out here. We wrecked the budget this year. We're going to lay people off. We don't have any raises for the deputies. And while I'm on the deputies there for a minute, fellas, for all of you who are out there protecting the people of Santa Rosa County, if you're wondering why you're getting laid off, or why you're not getting a raise, or why the sheriff is suggesting that he may have to lay you off and then bring you back at a lower salary, you can call Gordon Gooden. I got his telephone number right here, 983-1876. Feel free to call Commissioner Gordon Gooden, Don Salter, and Bob Cole, because they were the ones that chunked $3.2 million towards the Pullen property in a budget year when they knew 5 months ago that they were going to be short.
And did it strike you at the Monday County Commission meeting as ironic when County Administrator Hunter Walker brought up the point that what they expected to be short this year is $3.5 million?
Right.
Almost the same amount as the Pullen property.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist. Honest to goodness. I think I'm going to go to the big bookstore over there in Pensacola. Do you think, and look, I want to make very clear that Commissioner Williamson and Commissioner Lynchard, you two guys are doing a fantastic job. I don't want you to think for any moment that I'm talking about you two. But for the other three, is there any, you know, they got those books like Gardening for Idiots and all. Would they have one for government or like financials?
Governing for Idiots? I think that's redundant.
Yeah, look, when you're in a budget shortfall, when you know 5 months ago that you're going to have to cut budgets while you're squeezing for everything you have, it's not the time to go on a $3.2 million shopping spree when the actual appraisal on that property, a previous appraisal on that property, was $900,000. That's the problem.
This is the Pullum property, the first appraisal. So to sum up, we purchased Mr. Pullum's land for $3.2 million.
Right.
3.1, 3.2 million. Originally appraised at $900,000. Team Santa Rosa now wants to purchase the rest of his property.
Right.
For an additional million something is what the estimate was, if I remember correctly. Mr. Pullum's a pretty sharp businessman, wouldn't you say?
You know, and look, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm all for capitalism. If my speckled puppy, if I can get somebody to pay me 3 times the price for my speckled puppy, well then God bless me.
Oh, it's the suckers who paid for it.
That's right. The problem in all of this is all the interconnectivity of all the players in this. And I just have a real problem with that. And certainly, I mean, you got an appraisal for $900,000. 4 months and 2 days, or 2 or 3 days later, you get an appraisal that's 3.2. And in Santa Rosa County completely throws away the $900,000 appraisal. They look at the 3.2 appraisal and the higher appraisal.
But again, is it possible that's just Mr. Pullum's business acumen at work there?
Maybe.
That made that happen. I think we have some footage that sort of illustrates the rewards of that kind of business acumen.
Absolutely. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead.
Don't you?
Well,
You need to get ready for this footage, though, don't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, before we make this trip to the island, you know, everybody's got to put on the proper attire, and you know, Deborah, maybe you need to stop by the canteen and get you a hat, because on some parts of this planet, the sun shines very bright. In other parts, it doesn't shine very bright. But, ladies and gentlemen, you'll note a video that's playing.
Let's call this our salute to Bill Pullum's business acumen.
Right, and it's a beautiful. This is you can find this on the internet, www.clarksky.com, and certainly it's a beautiful island, Deborah.
It appears from all the information on this website, it appears that this is Mr. Pullum's private island.
It does appear that way, and you know, certainly it appears to be a nice place.
It's lovely.
It's lovely.
I'm seeing a plane, an airplane, and a helicopter.
Yeah, a very nice plane, and we understand by reading the web page that, you know, that plane is available to fly folks from the upper 48 down to the islands, and
helicopter in there.
Got a helicopter. Yeah, no, very nice helicopter.
What do you think it costs to fuel a helicopter?
Well, you know, helicopters are pretty expensive. I mean, we're talking about a few $1,000s a month to even consider.
That's not a cheap toy.
And
you would have to sell a lot of property to the government to pay probably just the annual fuel costs on your own private helicopter.
I would imagine, considering that
because the government seems to be one of the better markets in this area.
Right.